Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS, and in today's video, I'm going to be listing the 10 favorite cards of mine from the Duelist Alliance era. So the Duelist Alliance era is what I consider to basically be, obviously Duelist Alliance, up until now. So Duelist Alliance, New Challengers, Secrets of Eternity, Cross Souls. I call it an era because when Duelist Alliance released, it basically pushed back all of the decks before it. So, you know, Indulge, Fire Fist, Mermail, Bujin, Sylvan, all of that just got pushed to the wayside, became largely irrelevant, and, you know, Burning Abyss, the Tower Knight Shaddolls kind of took its place. Obviously, the Duelist Alliance era released, you know, those decks, and Klee, and Infernoids, and you could say Necroz. So lots of cool archetypes, and, you know, things like Fluffles, Ultra Athletes, loads of things, but these are my favorite sort of individual card picks I thought it'd be interesting to share. Also, these are in no particular order, so just kind of going left and right here. So let's get started. The first card is Castel. So Castel largely replaced Silent Honor Arc in a lot of people's extra decks. It's a generic rank 4, and it gets rid of pretty much any threat that you have to deal with on the field. Any face-up card, I think, is a lot more flexible than Silent Honor Arc. Silent Honor Arc had kind of the weakness of, like, if you attach a Dante to it, obviously that's not really something you want to do. Because Dante still gets its effect, it's like detached, and there's some other ones with a similar idea. And so Castel can just send it back in the extra deck and get rid of like a field spell or a troublesome floodgate card, things like that. So it's more flexible, and I thought that was just a nice addition to the Xyz pack. The next card is Dark Xyz Rebellion Dragon. So this is another Xyz monster that I've liked from the last few sets. It's obviously an out to towers, that's how a lot of people see it, but it also just fills that gap of another generic rank 4 Xyz that has a lot of attack, because, you know, Utopia is kind of irrelevant at this point, and Gem-Knight Pearl is just a normal monster. So the cool part about this is that, you know, it's 2500 by itself, and it also can gain attack. So you can swing over towers and other big things, and you can really swing over anything. You know, Dark Xyz Rebellion Dragon allows you to do that, and I thought that was really neat extra deck staple. Next card is Batteryman 9-Volt, which to me is a great example of how one card can make an old, sort of irrelevant archetype into something amazing. Batteryman 9-Volt gave Batteryman consistency, it gave them the ability to Xyz summon, and it gave them a lot of speed, which I thought was great. 9-Volt, it just, you know, Batteryman before 9-Volt really were just inconsistent, weak. At best, you use like AAAs or something in a Hunter build. And that was pretty much it. And so I really liked that Konami could think of one card that pulls an entire theme together. And that sort of segues into my next card, which is Blaze Accelerator Reload. Honestly, I was really surprised at the power of this card. Volcanics is an archetype that's otherwise, you know, a tier 10, but Blaze Accelerator Reload literally pulled it up to tier 2, and even like 1.5 for a while, I think. You know, it just gave them speed, it gave them consistency, it allowed them to get off those effects like Scatter Shot and Shell really consistently, and Volcanic Counter. And it's like searchable and recyclable by Volcanic Rocket, which happens to also be like 1900 and gets its effect anytime it's summoned. It gets a little bit crazy, and you can like banish this card from the grave and do stuff, you know, trap, chain it. It's really cool, and so I think that it's definitely another great example of like how, you know, one card can just make an archetype amazing. So I hope Konami does this more often. Next card is Time Space Trap Hole, or FaceTime Trap Hole. It's a cool card. It's sort of an out to pendulum summons. Obviously, it's not quite as easily usable as a lot of the other trap cards, like, you know, Trap Hole Nightmare and things like that. But still, against pendulum monsters, things like Torrential aren't really all that useful. So this shuffling them back into the deck is really incredible. The life point cost is a bit steep, but I do like, you know, it being like a counter trap and all of that, and so I just think that's really cool. I think it'll be a little more useful moving forward, so really nice sort of takeaway from these last few sets. Next is all of the vanilla support, so all of the Dragoons of Draconia that have come out, and just all the normal support in general. I know it's not one particular card, but I just figured I would list it as its own sort of solitary thing because it's just been nice. It's nice to see Konami supporting normal monsters again with support that kind of combines them with the new mechanic, which is pendulum summoning. I think that's really cool. So just all the normal support, but we'll just say, you know, the Draconia cards. Next card is Felis, Lightsworn Archer. So Felis kind of takes the place of Wolf and Lightsworns and fills a really great gap that I think they've been missing. It's a tuner monster that came out of an actual main series set. I know like Raiden and Minerva are things too, but Felis was cool because it offers you options. It's a tuner, you could use it with like Mathematician, and for a long time I hated the Mathematician Felis play, and like Shaddoll's made it even more annoying, but other decks could kind of use it too. It's just neat, you know, you get a tuner, it has 2000 defense, its summoning requirements are similar to Wolf, but it can also pop cards, and then you get to mill, and so it melds better with the Light Sword deck than Wolf did, and I thought that was a really neat addition. Next card was Fusion Reserve. Fusion Reserve is a neat card that sort of acts as like a preparation of rites of sorts for fusion monsters instead of rituals, and so like it adds support to those older, slower fusion decks. Obviously, Shaddoll's, you know, couldn't care less about this kind of thing, but I still think that you know, it helps like any older decks, and there's a lot of older ones, and that's the thing, is like, you know, it shows that Konami is willing to bring kind of all the summoning types back into the mix. Kind of yet to see an actual surge in ritual support, because Necross doesn't count. But still, Fusion Reserve is cool. It's a plusy card. Obviously, it's, you know, more balanced than Preparation because it's a little bit slower, but you get the idea. I think it's just a really neat addition to the list. Then there's Nacheria's Sacred Tree, a really cool trap that helps Nacheria's, but can also be used with like trap tricks. I think that's a really neat, cool way to do things as well. One of my friends actually made a trap trick Nacheria sort of hybrid deck that was really strong because trap tricks can be summoned with this card, they get effects by a special summon. It's a really neat, you know, kind of mix to things. And so yeah, I think it's really underrated. I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of those decks won't compete with like Necross or Shaddoll's, but they're still really strong in their own right. And the last card is Yazi of the Xing. It's the Xing Synchro. I like it because, you know, it's generic, it's level 7, and it's 2600 attack. So those qualities alone make it great. You know, 2600 for a level 7 it's not really seen, and this guy actually has an effect that's great. He can't be targeted, and obviously he's meant to be Xing support, but the fact that he's generic helps a lot because it helps against Burning Abyss, but also any deck that just really need to target things to get rid of them can have a lot of trouble with Yazi. So, you know, just take something old like Gladiator Beasts. Imagine bringing this thing out against them. It has 2600 attack, they can't pop it with Murmillo, they can't pop it with something like Azaris, and they can't, you know, use Forbidden Lance or Forbidden Chalice or, you know, Deprison against it. They kind of just have to hope to maybe get their Raigeki or like Mirror Force or something, and so I really like it. I think it's a great addition to the Synchro stack, and yeah. So those conclude my 10 most influential cards from the Duelist Alliance era. Obviously there are loads of other cards that could have made this list. It was actually a really tough one to make. I contemplated like Lightning Rod Lord, but I just didn't think he was really influential enough. Ninko Sekka is a big one, but I'm not really a fan of that card. Solemn Scolding kind of like came and went. So there are loads of other ones. And I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments. Leave comments with your favorite cards from the last year of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the Duelist Alliance era, that we're sending off because it's probably about to end. But that's the video, and I also have one last announcement. From here on out, I'm going to be doing monthly giveaways. So this is going to be really cool. Basically, every month I'll be giving away some Yu-Gi-Oh! Related prize product. Basically, you know, it could be like playmats, binders, maybe something nice like a box every now and again. And the way that you'll enter this is, there'll be a link in the description of every video, and you can enter them by subscribing to the channel and also like following on Facebook, following on Twitter, following on Twitch. That get you additional entries. You can find a little bit more information about it in the comments. But yes, so the prize for July is actually going to be 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Chibi playmats. So the Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey Chibi playmats that are being released, I'm going to be giving away 3 of them. So 3 random people will get a Chibi playmat of their choice, and it's completely free. All you have to do is click the link in the description to sign up for this contest, and again, I'll be doing one of these every single month. So I hope that's interesting news for you guys. Anyways, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I will catch you guys later. See ya.